Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and more videos with Wendy Hearts Counseling, and today's video is going to be a question and answer from some questions that I received via email based on, again, my most popular video, which I created about a year ago on how to survive a breakup and what it really means when you're crying over your ex. So these questions that this person has are actually how to deal with the depression that comes with the loss of a relationship, and how to deal with the thoughts of that person that is no longer in your life during early morning and late night. And also, is it possible, or how is it possible to move on so fast? Not particularly for this person that lost the connection, but for the person that left them in the connection. Like, how is it possible for someone to move on so fast? And how is it possible to be passive aggressive because you want them back? So we're going to be addressing these questions today. So 48 days from breakup and 25 days in non-communication. So first of all, congratulations on surviving this time. I know the pain of a connection when it is there and then it is not there. It is real. It is almost as if you are like literally losing a person, like physically, either in life or, I don't want to say death, but like, yes, it's the same kind of grief that one person will experience, and you will most likely go through the 7 stages of grief, and you are going to feel all of the emotions. You're going to feel sad and you're going to feel angry. So when we have a depression, that is a sadness that is associated with that, and it's a rumination of the past. So in order to help the depression, what is strongly suggested is to stay present in the now, because depression is ruminating the past. And of course, if you're going to be feeling depressed, that probably means that you're ruminating not very good things about that relationship. Maybe your thoughts are ruminating things such as what you could have done different, or what did you do wrong, or why does this always happen to you, or why is this happening to me again? So these kind of thoughts that would be ruminating and keep us stuck in the past will, of course, produce feelings of sadness and keep us stuck in that cycle. So just remember that there isn't anything that you could really do at the end of the day to change an outcome of a connection. There's always 2 people at play. And yes, of course, I feel like we always have control of ourselves and how that other person responds to us. But sometimes in a soul contract, especially if one of the people inside that soul contract is not ready to do their work or face the shadows that are being awoken from within them in a connection, because no matter what, we are going to have triggers in romantic connections. It's just how it goes. That's how we grow. We become mirrors of our internal world with the person that we are romantically involved in most of the time. And then if we're not ready to do that work, then what else can we do aside from, instead of ruminating in our mind and thinking, what could I have done different, or what did I do wrong, why is it happening to me? Like, we need to reframe all that into I did everything that I could to make this connection work, or everything is always happening for me. So maybe this person at the end of the day wasn't the right one for you in this moment. So maybe that's why, Creator steps in and has that person leave you, because you might not be strong enough to leave, even though you know by the way that you're feeling that it's not quite right. And even though you may have started to feel amazing, because this is what happens. People get really excited to meet each other, and soul contract gets ignited, and it's like so wonderful when a soul meets a counterpart and they want to have their energies, play and be with each other and experience each other and feel that, feel that connection. It's so fulfilling. But then what happens shortly after is usually our inner children get triggered by unhealed wounds, core beliefs, attachment styles. We get triggered by that love interest, and now all of a sudden it becomes a little bit more of a challenge, and the dynamics sometimes change depending how aware you are of your internal experience that the other person is arising from within you, or how aware and willing you are to also work on yourself in order to be able to meet your partner where they deserve to be met, or they should be met, or things of that nature. There was an episode that I had watched on YouTube by this awesome coach, and he was talking about the 3 C's. It's like to be conscious of something, and then to have the capacity, right? Because some people may not even have the capacity to do their self-work. That's why you can't really take it personally and make it mean anything about yourself. So that's how you deal with the depression, is you reframe the questions to something more positive, and you try to find the positivity that is available to you right now in this moment through that connection. So is it because you needed to maybe really understand what your boundaries are and what you're really worth, and make sure that next time you place your order to the universe of what you want to experience, it was clearly shown to you? Or maybe there was an unhelpful core belief in there somewhere that was lingering from within, that this person was able to bring forth to your awareness. So staying in the present moment, remembering that it is always happening for us. There wasn't anything that we could have done different, because at the end of the day, whatever is meant to be ours will come and find us. And how to deal with the thoughts of missing when you go to bed or when you wake up, the sure way is gratitude. So if you're going to be thinking about this person, you might as well just be thinking about the good things that you had in the connection, so then you can keep yourself from crying and feeling sad and feeling sorrow. Gratitude is the best way to switch out whatever feeling is not working for you. And if you need 5 or 10 minutes to cry out that loss, because like I mentioned earlier, you are going to go through the stages of grief, just allow yourself to do that. But then move on. Do not become your emotion. Just witness it, allow it to pass. Don't judge it. It's there for a reason. And like I mentioned before, sometimes when we do so much work on ourselves and we finally have like an opportunity to really experience a connection, like how we imagine that it would feel, or it should feel, would be most ideal to feel. And maybe our inner child gets excited along with our adult self that perhaps this time is the time. And if it doesn't work out, then I understand why that grieving of that possibility will exist. And we also just allow that, and nothing lasts forever unless we work at it. So the sadness won't last forever unless we keep it alive by ruminating the past. And then the anger, because this person mentioned about being passive aggressive. So passive aggressiveness has an underlying anger that is driving the force of being passive aggressive. Because what we want to be in relationships, post breakup, during it, before it, we want to be assertive, which means we are sure of who we are sure of our self-concept, we are aware of our emotions, we don't really project, and we're able to communicate why we feel the way that we feel, but we don't use anger as a way to make someone else feel bad by making like underhanded comments and being sarcastic and things of that nature. I actually took out the communication style sheets because a passive aggressive communicator has difficulty acknowledging their anger, and they use sarcasm, and that really tends to sabotage what you're trying to accomplish. And I feel I know this anger feeling quite well. I always feel that I'm really good at expressing my feelings and why I have those feelings. I try to be self-responsible and not point the finger and be a passive aggressive communicator. I try to be assertive because I also don't want to hold in the experience of how I am feeling due to somebody else's actions. I want to be able to express the fact, the way it has made me feel, and as a result of that, what happens. So that's assertive communication as opposed to being passive aggressive and not being able to express your anger healthily, because at the end of the day, all of our emotions are there for a reason. So why stuff them, as opposed to working with them to our advantage, and to also help us communicate what is going on. The other thing, is it possible to move on for the other person? And like, sometimes it really is, but I almost wonder if it's the fact that, what does that mean for you? If someone else already has found somebody else, what does that mean for you? What kind of a questions does that arise from within you? Does it make you feel, or ask questions such as, what was wrong with me? Why was I not good enough? Or why wasn't I the right one? Did they really not care about me? How could they move on so quickly? Like, these questions, how are they making you feel? Or what are they making you think and feel about yourself? So then if we pay attention to that, we can give ourselves the opposite experience. Because if we're starting to feel, like unlovable or unworthy, then we know that doing the work to affirming to ourselves that we are worthy, that we are good enough, we're creating those new pathways, creating that new self-concept would be the most beneficial for us in that moment. So just pay attention to your thoughts and what your thoughts are saying to yourself in this moment about the experience of your of the love leaving you, finding somebody else. And the last question, how is it? No, I feel like I answered it all. Oh yeah. And then, did I mess up? And the new person, are they really better than me? And then it's like, we can't really ever mess up. We can't really ever mess up our soul contracts because we both have free will. So I just feel like accepting what is probably most ideal in order for us to move forward. And if we're asking these questions, are they better than me? Then I feel that maybe the self-concept then needs to be worked on a little bit more, because if and when I experience the feeling of someone leaving me, I'm pretty sure these days that it's really not about me, or it's not because I am not enough, or I am not worthy to be loved, or anything of that nature. So if I find somebody else, I just would think that they're more aligned on a vibrational level in this moment for each other. And there's something else that is more aligned for me where I am energetically. I do feel that's all that it really is at the end of the day. Because like I said, if we both get triggers in our relationships, and we don't work on those triggers, if we both don't work on expanding our emotional bandwidth to be able to deal with emotions that are being risen from our partners, if we don't fully love and respect ourselves, so how are we supposed to fully love and respect somebody else? If we can't fully show up for ourselves and we're in victim mentality, how do we like expect someone to not treat us the same way? Like there's all these dynamics that take place in a connection. So yeah, that's why I feel like we can't really do anything really wrong. And of course, we can always address any situation, even if we did something that is wrong, quote unquote, like we can ask for a second chance if that was the case, and see if that was meant for us or not. So then you can really fully know that you've tried everything you possibly could in your power. But that would be what I would say about these questions, and continuing to show yourself unconditional love, allowing yourself to experience these emotions, and have the knowing that whatever is meant for you will come and find you. And even though it might feel so challenging and hard in this moment, you can get through it. And yeah, so I'm sending you so much love and healing, and I know you're going to be able to get through this. And yeah, keep doing the things that fill your cup and your soul, and continue to live in the feeling that you want to experience in a connection by keeping alive the good memories from the connection that just ended, and just allow nature to take its course. And you never know, it might be the same one that comes back around, or a new one that is more aligned with the newer version of yourself. And to the comment of wanting to close the heart and not wanting to be part of any connection, I also understand that. And it's okay if you just want to take some time and space to not have your heart open. Because if you love like me and you're completely vulnerable and open and you give it 1,000%, and that effort is not met, yes, it is a little bit more challenging to overcome than those who don't open up their heart completely. But I also feel that we do ourselves a disservice when we do that, because then we don't fully get to experience the feeling of love. And there's nothing better to be able to know that you can love this way, and that it can exist because you are an example of it. And then closing our heart off will also mean closing the door to be able to experience it again. And then if we're not fully open, how are we going to attract somebody else that is fully open again? So these are just little pieces to think about. There are ways that we can still be open and nurture our heart, and make sure that even if it feels the loss of a connection, it can regenerate itself to its joyful self again. If you liked anything about this video, I would love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, I would love for you to be part of my channel. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything that you wanted me to speak about, I would love to do that. And yeah, I will see you next time.